Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
All right, welcome aboard. It is Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211, another week, and away we go. She's at the Sunrise Studios, and away we go. Marcia, welcome aboard. How are you?
I'm good. Beautiful weather in New England today. Perfect day for football. Unfortunately, it's Friday, so we don't really have a lot of football going on, but we do have a lot to talk about. Today, we're going to take an in-depth look. We cannot not address the elephant in the room, which is COVID-19. We want to talk about how it's affected not only sports moving forward, but business and how it's all affected all of us individually.
Yeah, it's crazy. Entertainment, business, Marcia, NFL, college football. You know, this is a show. Don't you feel like this is kind of we've been avoiding it and it's like long overdue? So here we go. Your COVID special on Elevating with Marcia. That's what it feels like to me. How about you?
Yeah, I've kind of been putting it off, really didn't want to talk about it and thought maybe we could kind of avoid it. We touch upon it here and there, but I think today we really need to address it because it definitely is affecting all facets of our life and, of course, sports.
All right. Well, the New York Jets are the latest. They've closed their training camp in Floral Park, New York, which is in Nassau County. They've got a 1 o'clock Eastern game on Fox against the visiting Arizona Cardinals. But I guess in fairness to you, given you're at the Sunrise Studios in New England, Marshall, what are you hearing about the Broncos-Patriots? It looks like it's going to be Monday night, 5 East. What's the mood there in New England right now with the Patriots?
Denver's not too happy about moving the game. I'm sure the Patriots aren't too happy about it, but I think ultimately, I don't know, maybe they're thinking we're getting the edge in case Cam Newton tests negative on Saturday. They can put him in Monday night. I'm not quite sure, but to be honest with you, it's affected all facets of sports, and I think this is just one of the casualties.
All right, Grant, how did they get a hold of you? And we'll look at some of the other games, and we got the whole entertainment world, movie theaters, restaurants, tourism, lots to get to today. We only got a few seconds left. How did they get a hold of you?
Yeah, stop by elevatedmediaesq.com or personally send me an email at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any ideas for the shows you want to hear about, shoot me off an email.
There she is, Marcia Hawkins, Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211. We come back. We get it going right after this message.
The world is changing so fast these days. You ever feel like you're not keeping up personally or professionally? Enter Elevated Media ESQ. Elevating with Marcia allows you to advertise in a form you never thought possible. They feature a business in an interview-type fashion, which is comfortable, amazingly affordable, and flexible. Not only that, the feature on your business is then formulated into a podcast for convenient, on-demand listening 24/7, 365. These times we're living in demand a different, clearer, more concise message. Does this sound like how you feel about how you market and advertise your business? Reach out today, no matter how big or small your business is. Elevating with Marcia is highly effective, and you'll be so grateful for the superfans she'll create. Email hello@elevatedmediaesq.com. Elevated Media ESQ, changing your business for the better.
At Advance Auto Parts, we have same-day delivery, same-day contact-free curbside pickup, and same-day in-store pickup to keep you going. And we have the right oil, right filter, right price every day to keep your vehicle going. Get 5 quarts of full synthetic Valvoline, Mobil 1, Pennzoil Platinum, or Castrol Edge with the Fram titanium oil filter for just $33.99. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Certain vaccines are needed throughout infancy, adolescence, and adulthood. That's why it's important to follow a trusted vaccination schedule. Here's Washington Representative and Women in Government Board Vice Chair Cindy Ryu.
According to the CDC, as many as 50,000 adults die from vaccine-preventable diseases each year. That's why it's important to talk with your doctor about these infections and develop the best vaccine plan for you and your family. For more, visit womeningovernment.org.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, don't worry. There's a bright side. The experts at brightsidetaxrelief.com will protect you from having your wages garnished, money deducted from your bank account, and your home or business seized. BrightsideTaxRelief.com will fight the IRS and negotiate to reduce or eliminate the amount you owe. Visit BrightsideTaxRelief.com or call 800-730-4313. That's 800-730-4313. The consultation is free. Go to BrightsideTaxRelief.com now.
Between jobs, retiring, or just need health or life insurance, please visit myhealth-quotes.com or call 833-687-5261. Before you try to get a quote online, call us. We will provide you with the information most sites will not. We teach you exactly what life or health insurance plan you qualify for, how to use your plan, and maximize your benefits. We provide you with the information to make a knowledge-based decision to ensure selecting the right plan. myhealth-quotes.com to schedule an appointment. Welcome back. Elevating with Marsha, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211, the Dan Patrick Show channel, across the country and around the world on American Forces Radio Network. All the podcasts available at elevatedmediaesq.com. She's at Sunrise Studios in idyllic New England here in October, middle of October, right around the corner. And we bring her back. It's Marsha Hawkins. Marsha, we just talked about Patriots. Let's just get to one more, and we got a whole lot of ground to cover today and throughout this weekend. Bills-Titans, Battle of Unbeatens. That game's been moved to Tuesday night, 7 East. Titans already missed a game with Pittsburgh. Buffalo is a high-flying team right now. A lot of implications already here in Week 5, and COVID rearing its ugly head in New York. So I don't know, Marsh. Do you think maybe the NFL may be forced to hit the pause button? What do you forecast there?
I don't know. I'm beginning to think that, it's going to look like that. I just don't know how. I mean, it feels like every week one or two teams testing positive for the COVID, key players. In New England's case, it's Cam Newton. Now Stephon Gilmore, he's going to be ruled out, testing positive for COVID. I think at some point the NFL is going to have to take a look at this as a possibility. What is the contingency plan? Who knows?
Yeah, and they've only got a couple weeks in January, I think the 3rd and the 10th. Don't quote me on that, for possible makeup weekends before the playoffs kick in. And the last thing you want to do is, out of a 16-game schedule, you don't want some teams to play 16, other teams play 12 or 13, and then have to go to tiebreakers by via of winning percentage. This is potentially a disaster. Now, baseball, has put their postseason in a bubble. They kind of grinded their way through a 60-game regular season. The NBA and NHL had it right. They went inside bubbles in Toronto, Edmonton, and Orlando for basketball. But, you can't put football in a bubble, Marsha. I think the NFL, being the most popular sport, and I want to get into TV and how people are consuming, NFL and college football. But the NFL, Marsha, the bubble scenario just doesn't seem plausible. Does it? Do you see any workable solution out there? I don't, for one. I really don't. How about you?
Well, I think the one thing that we're really not talking about is, the COVID, the whole dysfunction around COVID is that it's not really, I'm not getting political. A lot of people want to, blame Trump or blame this one or blame that one. But individually, the states have kind of, gone along with everything that they've wanted to roll out in terms of how things are done with COVID, from shutdowns to, group gatherings to everything, to even restaurants. So we're not consistent across the board. I think that's part of the problem. Now you throw sports into the mix, and yeah, you have a lot more personal contact with football, obviously, more than you do with baseball. You have a little bit of wiggle room, if you will, in terms of baseball and not being, in such tight quarters. Basketball, same thing. You're in very tight quarters, and you can't help but be breathing on people and making contact with people. So I don't know if maybe, back in the summertime when they were trying to figure this all out, but you have states doing everything differently. You have some commonality on a national level. But I mean, even look at travel. You go to the airport, and they're pretty desolate right now, but they have you social distance to stand in line with your boarding pass, and then you get on the plane and you're sitting with people. I don't know. I just don't know how they're going to draft a plan that it can be adapted universally and we can, emerge from all of this. I don't know. I'm not being negative Nelly here. I'm just realistically looking at it. I'm not quite sure where we're going with all this. It just seems like every week we're getting another team testing positive. I don't know.
Yeah. You bring up a good point. I know we're going to do a lot on the football. We're going to look at some of the key college games, and we're going to do a lot later on in the show too. But you just touched on something that I think you want to delve into, and that's the airports, Marcia, and the very few food vendors, newspapers, and magazines are hardly available. It's a surreal, and we know there's been 32,000, furloughed employees and a lot of other stuff and the stimulus stuff. So, again, staying out of the political venture, I just don't, Marsha, the question I have, and I think a lot of the people in the audience will want to hear what you have to say about this. Has our travel industry maybe changed forever? That we're never going to go back? And I hate new normal. It sounds like a cliche, but what do you see happening with travel? It just seems like it may be damaged and harmed or altered to the point where we're just never going to recognize it again. It's so cumbersome and so strange. So it's kind of a convoluted question, but I think you know where I'm going.
Yeah, I think it's actually beyond that. I think, people adapt, and that's really ultimately what's happened. People have begun to adapt, and I don't like that, the new normal either. But to take it one step further, it really has more to do with, presented the facts and what you have to do. People are compliant, they're going to do it. And then it starts to begs the question whether or not you really want to go back to the way you were doing things before. So I think it has more to do with the fact that people are going, okay, if this is what I have to do, they start doing it. The one thing that's always, fascinated me was people really do not adapt well to change. But if you're forced to do it, and once you do it and you get used to that, a lot of people don't want to go back. So I know a lot of friends and colleagues who, travel quite frequently for work. One person in particular that I can think of who traveled, Monday through Friday, flew out Monday, flew back Friday night. And now the company is realizing how much money they can save on air travel by not sending everybody to the clients. So now they're doing it. Of course, Zoom is just off the charts. We all use Zoom. Teleconferencing has become very, very popular. And obviously we can't Zoom for sports, but, as far as the airlines are concerned, I'm not sure. Many companies are going to want to go back and foot that bill once this is, once we've got a good wrap on COVID. I don't see it. I really don't.
Wow. All right. Well, I want to get to restaurants. It's Elevating with Marsha, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211, the Dan Patrick Show channel. And Marsha, we've all talked about the inconvenience of people going out to eat fast food or even fine dining. I want to turn the paradigm and ask you, can restaurant owners do more if they even survive? What can they do? What are they up against? Let's see it from their perspective. We've talked each week about, or in some weeks, previous episodes of your program, we've talked about the impact on the diners. What about the owners, whether it's a chain or a family-owned establishment? What's your view on that?
Well, I'm noticing on some of my receipts, whether it's restaurant, going to the hair salon, they're starting to impose a security safety charge. I've noticed that on quite a few of my receipts. They're trying. I mean, they have to, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess I should say, they have to adapt to whatever the state regulations are. It's kind of funny how you can be, right on the state line and you have to adhere to one set of rules, but you go 1 mile over the border and into another state and you've got another whole set of rules. It's very strange, very, very strange. The restaurants, I think they're doing the best that they can, but long term, I'm just not sure that they're going to be able to sustain it, especially if they're at, 50% or less capacity. I think restaurants struggle even at 100%. Now you throw this on, I don't know. I think they're doing everything that they can, but I think I would say most people, again, people have adapted and maybe they're just not going to go out as much as they used to. That's my take.
All right. Yeah, okay. And when we come back out of the break here in a bit, I want to ask you about, do people go out, yes, to get away from having to cook at home. They want the environment. They want to be waited on, but the environment is so compromised now. I want to talk to you about the impact on that, probably a little more on tourism. But then later on in the program, we'll get back to the sports world and has our consumption of sports content, either live and in person at the stadia or the arenas or the ballparks, has it been forever altered to the point where we may never go back to consume the way we did? What a fascinating week to talk as the NFL is dealing with some interruptions once again. Marcia, how do they get a hold of you? And, of course, we're seeing it now. Podcasting is blowing up in this country. How do people get a hold of you if they're interested in having Elevated Media get involved with their advertising, their over-the-air or podcasting or, search engine optimization? Real quick, how do people get a hold of you?
Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com. Yes, everything from websites to marketing, podcasting, and everything in between. We'd be happy to help. Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com.
All right, she's Marcia Hawkins, Sunrise Studios in idyllic, foliage-laden New England. Lots to talk about. Sports, entertainment, what's going on in the USA and across our world. We're coming back on the Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211 American Forces Radio Network. We're coming right back.
Have you written a book? You can become a published author with Dorrance Publishing, the nation's oldest publishing services company. Countless authors have trusted Dorrance for nearly 100 years to bring their book to the market. Our professional team will edit your text, design your book pages, and create an appealing, eye-catching custom cover. Plus, our authors benefit from a custom book promotion marketing campaign that makes your book available where people buy books, like Amazon and brick-and-mortar bookstores. So make this free call right now to claim your free author's guide to publishing. Don't wait another day. Take one step closer to realizing your dream of becoming a published author and seeing your name in print. You've already written a book, so the next thing to do is make this free call right now to Dorrance Publishing and get your free guide to publishing. Call right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health care for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health care for you and your family immediately and save as much as 50% off your current monthly health care payments. Our plans are perfect for people that are self-employed, can't afford health benefits where they work, or just want to pay less for their current health care. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. We even offer some of the new Christian faith-based health benefits. Save up to 50% on your family's health care. Make a free quick call now. There are no contracts, and we give you a 10-day money-back trial period. Call Provision Enrollment right now for your risk-free, guaranteed health insurance quote starting at $6 a day.
800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. That's 800-472-5145.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Elevating with Mark, the Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM, as we talk on this October weekend and into Monday and Tuesday this week. Football abounds. We'll have Monday Night Football. We'll have a doubleheader again. We'll have Broncos, Patriots, and then we're going to have a Tuesday night game with Bills, Titans, and that depends on whether, with this ever fluid situation with COVID-19. All right, Marshall, we talked about impact on restaurants. How about businesses as a whole? I mean, I see some businesses thriving and others are not so much. So what's your take on that?
What specifically, like what industries do you feel are thriving? Who do you think has been a benefactor of the COVID for business? I don't want to use the word benefactor. I want the audience to understand I take it seriously. But what I really mean is, in your eyes, what are some of the businesses that you think might have capitalized on this? I mean, Amazon is the elephant in the room. Of course,
I was just going to say, online shopping has just boomed. I think you mentioned telecommunications. The anything web based. I mean, people are working remotely from home. Food delivery services are booming from what I read. I'm
what a lot
at the weekend.
Right. What a lot of people didn't realize, though, is that the online delivery home meal services were actually already starting to creep into restaurant profits prior to COVID. Of course, boom, COVID hits and it puts everything through the roof. So, yeah, I mean, Amazon's done really, really well. Online shopping as a whole, some of the retailers, though, are dying and they're closing up shop. Now, I found it interesting. Pier 1 actually had filed bankruptcy prior to COVID. They were shutting hundreds of stores prior to COVID hitting. But I just got an interesting email the other day that they were sold and they are going to their online business is still going to be alive, which totally surprised me. I thought they were on a respirator prior to COVID, but apparently someone has bought the company and they're going to bring it back. So I found that to be very encouraging. But a lot of retailers, I think that they probably, are really taking a long, hard look. The whole holiday season, which is where retailers pretty much make their year, they have to be nervous going into the season. They have to be nervous. The final quarter, the final stretch of the economy for them, their fiscal year, it's got to be unnerving. They need to make their profits through the holidays, and if they don't, you might see January open up with quite a few bankruptcy filings.
The other thing I've seen, Marcia, is home improvement, because people are at home, they're working, they're tinkering, they're running to Lowe's, they're running to Home Depot, even their local Ace Hardware or the mom and pop hardware stores. I'm looking at articles that suggest home improvement is doing well, and real estate's doing well too, because people are fleeing the inner cities looking for rural locations. You've seen it. Realtors are doing really well right now.
Absolutely. Walk into a Home Depot or a Lowe's, and it's like you'd think it would be like the first weekend of spring with people in there. It's just crazy. They've been so crazy that you walk around and you see shelves just completely empty. They have, I've asked and they have verbalized that they can't stock the shelves fast enough. So you're right. A lot of businesses have really thrived with COVID. Many have been able to adapt. And then some have been able to adapt, but they're not seeing the numbers that they need to see to thrive and make it. I don't know what this is going to look like. I really believe that once we get through the holiday season, I think it's going to really be able to allow a business owner to take an objective look at where they're going to be going moving forward. But yeah, if you're not doing things online, if you're not looking to garner sales online, you really need to think about that, because that really is the way everything is going. Absolutely.
Well, that segues nicely, more nicely into my next topic. So should businesses right now be looking, well, I know the answer. They obviously they should be looking for ways to improve their on-air presence is what they should be doing. And what it can do is, with more people, going to the internet for purchases and scouring the internet, boy, if your site and your presentation isn't up to snuff, you can do more damage. And you lose an opportunity. You get one chance to make a first impression.
Absolutely. And I know I talk about this a lot on the show. I really think business owners should really seriously consider getting an app for their business. I've noticed more and more, and I say it practically on every single show, I really do believe apps are going to be the future for online everything. So if you're not doing, just look at your own personal habits of what you do on your phone. I very rarely go on my computer anymore. I've realized I can do the bulk of my work off my phone. It's just amazing. I mean, obviously for more complex things like programming a website or something like that, you do have to be on a laptop to do that. But it is remarkable. I think that, moving forward, I think everyone right now has been in the past, since February, March, been in survival mode. But I do believe once we get through the holiday season, many businesses will go to the drawing board and say, okay, if this continues, or there's another outbreak, or the flu is really, really bad, and people are really getting nervous to go out, I think a lot of people will definitely take a look and see what they can do moving forward so that they don't have to, leave their house as much. I think businesses will adapt to that. I think they have to at this point.
And I guess where I want to go next with you is entertainment. Is the entertainment industry changing right now? I'll get to television and sports a little bit later on, maybe in the next segment. But what about the entertainment industry? I mean, Netflix and HBO and eFlix and all this other stuff, ePix rather, tends to be spiking. And Quibi has kind of been slow out of the gate with Jeffrey Katzenberg. But what about the entertainment industry?
Well, I just read the other day a lot of the movie theaters are probably going to be going out. There's going to be so much commercial real estate available. I'm interested to see what that's going to look like moving forward. Just imagine, look at a huge office complex that the bulk of the businesses have decided to go remote and people are going to just work from home. Imagine what that's going to do for, just everything. I mean, the trickle effect of that is just going to be incredible. I mean, how many office buildings are just going to be tumbleweeds blowing through their hallways? I really see that being a very, very real issue when it comes to commercial real estate, which is why I believe the residential real estate has been so hot. People are leaving. They don't need to commute anymore. They can work from home. They can live anywhere. So you're seeing a lot of people, leave major metropolitan cities for more rural areas where they can, kind of enjoy life and get outside. And I think it's something that they're going to have to look at. I think a business owner right now is probably just on survival mode, but eventually they're going to go back to the drawing board and really start to carve out what 2021 is going to look like, either during COVID or post-COVID. Who knows when this is going to end?
All right, we only got a couple minutes left, I guess. So is the routine medical appointment in person a thing of the past? If you need a procedure, you got to go in, but the initial consultation of that routine appointment, Telmed's here to stay or no?
Well, trends always start in California and move from west to east. What a lot of people don't know is in California, most, routine office visits were done via Zoom. They were doing it long before COVID. And of course, COVID forced us, the rest of us, to do that. I really do believe that it's going to eliminate people having to go into the doctor's. I mean, if you're not sick, the last thing you want to do is go into a doctor's office and pick something up, or go to a hospital and pick something up. So I do believe, obviously, there's going to be things they have to have you in person for, but I definitely think it's going that way for sure.
All right, it's Elevating with Marcia. NFL, again, here are the 5-star games this week, folks, and I'll put 5 stars on Colts and Browns. Battle of 3-1s, that game out at Brown Stadium in Cleveland on the banks of Lake Erie, Sunday, 4:25 East on CBS. Colts are slight favorites. The Browns, believe it or not, could be 4-5, and they're at home, a slight underdog. And Raiders-Chiefs in the AFC West is a huge, huge, huge spot. So we'll keep an eye on that, and of course, some of the other games. Chargers are in a desperate situation in New Orleans. That comes up Monday night, 8:25 East on ESPN, so a lot to get to. It's Elevating with Marcia. How did they get a hold of you, Marsh, before we head to our final big chunk and then the 2-minute drill before the end of the show?
Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com. Hello at elevatedmediaesq.com.
All right, fantastic. And across the Sirius XM plane on Catholic Radio 110, Notre Dame, Florida State this weekend, Alabama, Ole Miss. Very truncated college football. The Big Ten is still 2 weeks away. Pac-12, 2 to 3 weeks away. So college football, very truncated, very, very much COVID affected. All right, we come back on the other side. More on this, but some other good things up her sleeve. It's Elevating with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM 211. It's the Dan Patrick Show station. And also don't forget, American Forces Radio Network 24/7 at elevatedmediaesq.com. Click on the podcast. It's right there for you. We come back. Elevated with Marcia, Sports Byline broadcast. Don't go away.
If you're not using podcasting for your business, you will. Not having a podcast is like not having a website. Hi, this is Marcia Hawkins of Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel. You can get your business on my podcast. It's a great way to create superfans for your business with a controlled message in a news format. What better way to get in front of your intended audience, your clients, your customers, or patients? Please contact me at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com about getting your business on my show, Elevating with Marcia. We also can create a personalized podcast that you can use on your website or social media channels. Contact me at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com and join me on Elevating with Marcia on Sirius XM Channel 211, the Dan Patrick Channel.
With the real estate market evolving, realtors stand ready to help. Realtors are an expert voice of reason in changing times, and they're working in new ways to guide you through virtual showings and safe closings, to be your ally in the fight for mortgage relief, to understand a neighborhood the way no algorithm can. That's the role of a realtor. This is a real estate season like no other, and realtors are ready. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
If you knew there was an energy shot that also helped you lose weight, would you try it? Real Ketone's Keto Energy Shots give you sustained energy without the sugar jitters or crash. That's why Keto Energy Shots constantly get 5-star reviews. The secret is our patented all-natural ingredient DBHB. This powerful ingredient revs up your metabolism and turns your body into a fat-burning machine in only minutes. Feel energized while shredding unwanted pounds. Pull into a CVS now and look for Keto Energy Shots in the weight loss aisle, or go to realketones.com.
Now that we're getting back on the road, the stops we make seem more special than before. Stop to see a friend. Stop at your favorite store. Stop at the places you missed most. And to keep you going between those stops, there's Shell. Stopping to fill up with our best fuel ever. Save with the Fuel Rewards program. And to get snacks and essentials that can save you even more at the pump. That's just a few of the ways Shell helps you make the most of the stop you need to make. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Between jobs, retiring, or just need health or life insurance, please visit myhealth-quotes.com or call 833-687-5261. Before you try to get a quote online, call us. We will provide you with the information most sites will not. We teach you exactly what life or health insurance plan you qualify for, how to use your plan, and maximize your benefits. We provide you with the information to make a knowledge-based decision to ensure selecting the right plan. myhealth-quotes.com to schedule an appointment. All right, welcome back. It's Elevating with Marsha Sports Byline broadcast. She's in the Sunrise Studios in idyllic western New England. Before we get back into the meat and potatoes, what's the foliage season like out there in New England?
Ironically, we had a major storm blow through here. We were out without power for a few days, and it blew a lot of the color off the trees, unfortunately. But it still looks beautiful. Nothing like New England in the fall. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous, warm day today, sunny out. It's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, unfortunately, when you get a bad storm, as the leaves are starting to really turn, but it's foliage is definitely a little bit late this year. We really have not had a lot of cold weather, which is what we need to really make the color burst.
Yeah, well, you know what's coming here as we head towards mid-October and November, and the football season is starting to gain momentum as well. Well, we were talking about the business and kind of the COVID implications. Here's one more question on that before we delve into, some other entertainment questions and business questions is, was this nature's way of maybe pruning the business world, that it exposed a lot of largesse, a lot of excesses out there? Is there, and again, people have died as a result of this, so I don't want to go crazy here, but I guess my question is, has this kind of separated the haves from the have-nots, or the wills as opposed to the would-be's or would-not-be's? In other words, some kind of organic pruning of the business world? How about that?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it does remind me a lot of the late 90s with the dot-bomb era. There were so many people just jumping on the dot-com era bandwagon. Right. And they were just putting these ridiculous businesses together. They had inflated earnings with, really no tangible assets. And the whole thing just went, crazy. And of course, everything just kind of took a nosedive, and it flushed out. I mean, I can't even think, but if I had to and made a list of all of the businesses that you just thought were just going to just do incredible, I even remember Gillette Stadium had a, CMGI. Who's ever heard of that? Right. Recent. There were so many businesses. So that was kind of the business virus, if you will, that kind of went through and flushed out a lot of businesses. I do think there is an element of that because, if you were struggling along, much like a Pier 1 that was struggling prior to the virus, that was the nail in the coffin for sure. And there's a lot of businesses, maybe they, we talked last week about the power of decision. Maybe many business owners were struggling to make a decision about what they were going to do, and this kind of made it for them. Not the way that you want to, end your business or close your doors or, whatever the end result is. But at the same time, maybe sometimes, we talked about this last week, sometimes decisions are made for you. And in this case, I do believe a lot of businesses that were limping along decided, not going to do this. Because it's hard. I mean, I know a couple of businesses that were reluctant to reopen after they got the approval from their states to open. And I, interviewed them and said, well, what was your trepidation? I would have thought you would have blown your doors open just to get back open and get revenue coming in. And they said, no, it was interesting because the clients and the customers that were calling wanted to know, this is an interesting aspect, wanted to know what their liability limits were, that if they were to come into the business and contracted the COVID, they wanted to make sure that business was going to be on the hook for it, which I honestly never thought of that. And so many business owners, kind of took a step back. I heard this multiple times, took a step back and wanted to wait and see how things flushed out because of that aspect. Connect the dots. It makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. Okay, here's a really interesting question. I think we can do a pretty big hit on this, and that is: Do you subscribe, Marsha, at Elevated Media, to that this is creating pent-up demand, or do you think it's a combination that there'll be pent-up demand to an inalterably changed business climate out there? In other words, the way we have done things will be forever changed, and it will be different. Is it a combination of both, or are they exclusive of one another? What do you think?
Oh, I think there's going to be both. I think there's going to be pent-up demand. I mean, think about all of the businesses that were created out of necessity because of some weird, odd thing that happened, in this case, the pandemic. Most people, especially savvy business people, will sit back and go, okay, let's really think about this. Let's take a step back from everything, see where we are, and then they start to forecast moving forward what it's going to look like, which is why I talk about apps all the time. I think business owners are crazy if they don't get an app. I think it's going to be the way moving forward. But there will be a lot of people that are going to take a look at this long term, see opportunity, and develop the remedy for it. I think there's going to be not a remedy for COVID, but a remedy for business owners to kind of thrive moving forward. There's opportunity out there. You just, like I said, I think a lot of people are just going to try to survive through the holiday season, and then they're all going to, get into their boardrooms and really start to carve out, where they're going to go moving forward. They almost have to. I don't think they're going to have an option. But there's going to be a few business people that are going to be able to really capitalize. I hate to use that in the same sentence as a pandemic, but you will see people that are going to create businesses out of this pandemic that will make a lot of money.
That's it. All right, real quick, 2 areas, and then we'll get into sports television, and then we'll get to your 2-minute drill and picks coming up to close out the show. But Marsha, I want to go back to shopping malls. I mean, it sounds like they're going to either change their ways, or they're going to be a combination of shopping and medical and educational, little mini colleges or mini daycare centers. That the American shopping malls, we see it as forever changed. And then automobiles. People are buying automobiles from all over the place, sometimes 200 miles away from their home. They got a good deal. They get the cars shipped to home, shipped to their home or business. Are those 2 industries, again, changed forever, in your opinion?
Well, ironically, they actually had changed many years prior to COVID. I mean, the last 2 cars I purchased via email and on the phone. Carvana, they're shipping cars everywhere. Those 2 industries had a renaissance prior to COVID, and everybody knows that. So, absolutely, I think that moving forward, it's solidifying what they had already carved out. You go to most major shopping malls, and there's virtual bowling, there's Planet Fitnesses, there's all sorts of children's and adult entertainment. I don't mean like adult entertainment. I mean, but adult, like, go-karting and, all sorts of different events that you can do at all of these different shopping malls. They realized they had real estate. They needed to get businesses in there. And now you go down there, there's very little shopping. Most of them are entertainment centers from, like I said, bowling, roller rinks, of course, movie theaters. But, I'm not quite sure, given the COVID, that's going to be the way it is moving forward. And then again, we have to wait and see with the restrictions, how those businesses even fare out. So in that aspect, yes, I do see that they're probably going to have to modify some of that. But both of those industries had started to change long before COVID.
All right, I'm going to do this. We're week 5 of the NFL, but I'm going to ask you a question here. And if you have the right answer to this will be amazing. If the Super Bowl 55 goes off as scheduled in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium on February 7th, what is it going to look like? Are we going to see a Super Bowl with less than capacity? And if the game is ever changed and it moved into March, could we see record low Super Bowl television numbers? Take a stab at that one, Marsha.
Yeah, I think it's a given. I know the ratings for the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball are off by double digits. I don't know how the Super Bowl would be able to go unscathed from ratings to attendance to all of that. Right now, concert schedules for 2021 are starting to get canceled already. I don't know how the Super Bowl is going to go off as planned, as normal. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I mean, I just can't imagine, 75 or 80,000 people close together. But who knows?
It's
I mean,
a shame. It's just a shame, but I understand it. But I don't know how. I think there's going to be changes leading up to the Super Bowl. I don't know how it's like I said earlier. You go back to, the different states and the different regulations and the different mandates in terms of what they have to do. And then, you've got teams that are, having outbreaks. I don't know. I'm sure this is not an easy time for Roger Goodell or any of the commissioners of any sports to try to figure this out. Again, we're just in uncharted waters. I don't know. I don't see the Super Bowl going off as planned.
Well, say it's the Super Bowl, and just for ha-has, it's New England against New Orleans. Or Buffalo against Cleveland, and the
or
Cleveland
New
Browns
England
are going
against the Bucs.
All right, I knew you'd say it. But let me. But can you imagine having? There's 2 weeks from the final NFL or AFC and NFC championship games. 2 weeks. Then you get down to Tampa in the week of February 7th. 2 or 3 players come down with COVID, and all these thousands of fans. You've been to Super Bowls. We've got there days in advance. And then you get down there, you paid for your hotel, and all of a sudden the game has been affected by COVID. I mean, Marcia, they're going to have to do the Super Bowl in a bubble in Tampa somehow, some way. I mean, this is fascinating. I know we're up against it, but it's fascinating to think about it. As negative as it is, the Super Bowl is a sitting duck.
And the one thing we have not talked about that could be a game changer, no pun intended, vaccine. If they come up with a vaccine by the end of the year, I take back what I said about the Super Bowl.
Wow. I didn't think about that, but then that opens up a whole nother conversation, because then you get people saying, well, it doesn't work, and there's no guarantee, and blah, blah, blah. But that gets us into politics.
Right. I'm not giving you the validity of a vaccine. What I'm saying is that if they do come up with a vaccine, and it's widely available, and I know they talked about bringing in the military to do the administering, to get that out there, then I take back what I said about the Super Bowl. Could be a game changer, no pun intended.
All right. Before we go to break, I want to get you ready, so I'm not going to catch you off guard.
You have not even allowed me to talk about Tom Brady not knowing that he had 4 downs last night. How can we not talk about that?
Okay, go ahead. You got a minute. Go ahead, and then we'll do the 2-minute drill. Go ahead. Brady last night. He held up 4 fingers. I thought he was saying, hey, I'll meet you at 4:00 tomorrow. I don't know what he was signaling. Did he lose track of the downs? Bruce Arians, Tom Brady, you're saying no, that is not what happened. I've watched the recap of that. And full disclosure, I did not watch the game last night, but it was interesting. It looked like that's what happened. It looked like he lost track of the downs. He held up the 4 fingers, and then it took him a minute before they took him off the field. So I think he was confused. For whatever reason, I mean, it happens. Of course, everyone's piling on that he's having a senior moment. Poor guy. Can't win for losing sometimes. Love Tom Brady, but I got to tell you, I was shocked. And, of course, Nick Foles, boy, I tell you, he's 2-for-0 with Tom Brady right now. And got to feel pretty good for Nick Foles. Yeah, well, how about this? 59 times in Brady's career, all with New England, 59 times, either in overtime or in the final drive of the game, he's pulled victory from the jaws of defeat. Last night, he couldn't get 60 as they got beat. We come back to wrap it up. 2-minute drill. It's Elevating with Marsha, Sports Byline broadcast, Sirius XM. Don't go away.
Do you have a story to share? Your story. Lifetime Private Autobiography Services can help. We will interview you by video or phone to get your memories in your words using your pictures. Our staff of talented writers will then recreate your story into a beautifully handcrafted book. You'll receive 10 individual copies for friends and family to enjoy for generations to come. Visit privateautobiography.com to schedule a free consultation. Mention this ad for a bonus audio recording from your personal interviews. To get started, visit privateautobiography.com or call 844-921-2802. That's 844-921-2802. Remember and be remembered with this gift of a lifetime.
At 28, I had struggled with opiate and meth addiction for 12 years. I did and said things that the sober me never would have done. One day I realized I was not invincible. I was not exempt. And that's when a friend told me about elite rehab placement. They gave me the tools I needed to get sober, and all it took was the one phone call.
Elite Rehab can help you start to break your addiction problem and get sober in as little as 7 days. And we'll work with your insurance provider to help cover the costs. Plus, we have travel assistance programs to get you here by plane or train. Make this free call right now to learn more.
800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. 800-403-5912. That's 800-403-5912.
Hello and welcome back to the Ronnie Deutsch Tax Program. On the line is Paul from California. Hi, Paul. What's your tax problem today?
Hi, Ronnie. Love your show. Listen, I've got a big problem. You see, my paycheck was garnished last week, and I'm only getting half the normal amount. To make matters worse, the IRS froze my bank account. Listen, I'm embarrassed and scared. I need some help.
Listen, Paul, you don't need to feel embarrassed. You just need some tax help. And the great news is the IRS has some unbelievable programs that can eliminate your tax debt so you don't have to worry about having your paycheck garnished or your bank levied. Doesn't that sound great?
It sure does, Ronnie.
Then do yourself a huge favor and get a free consultation right now and tell them the tax lady sent you.
855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. 855-715-5721. That's 855-715-5721.
Welcome back. It's Elevating with Marsha. It's a 2-minute drill. It's brought to you by Elevated Media ESQ. If you need search engine optimization, if you want a podcast for your business or an app, get a hold of Marsha at hello@elevatedmediaesq.com. All right, Marsha, 2-minute drill. You were 3-2 last week, coming off three straight weeks of 3 out of 4. We're going to give you a 4-pack of games real quick. Bills-Titans. That'll be Tuesday night, 7 East. How do you see that game in Nashville?
I think the Bills look great. I'm going with the Bills. I think they look fantastic. Makes me a little nervous for Cam Newton, but, yeah, I'm going with the Bills.
All right, let's go to Foxborough at Gillette Monday night, 5 East, right in the middle of afternoon drive in the commute. Broncos and the Patriots. How do you see that game?
Patriots will mop them up.
All right, double-digit win for the Patriots. All right, Colts, this is the 5-star game of the week. Who would have figured the Indianapolis Colts, whose only loss was the season opener at Jacksonville. Here come the Cleveland Browns, who were always kind of characterized as the mistake on the lake, and don't make any mistake. They're the real deal. 3-1. Colts Browns, real quick.
That's going to be an interesting game. I'm on the fence with that, but I think I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Phil Rivers. I'm going to go with the Colts.
All right, and finally, 20 seconds. Raiders-Chiefs. Can the Raiders somehow right their ship? They're a big dog. They're taking on Kansas City. Kansas City coming off another short week, having played Monday night against the Patriots. What do you think?
I'm going to get slayed for this, but I don't think Kansas City looks as good as they did last year. I think I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Wow. So the Raiders to keep it snug or maybe pull the outright victory. There you go.
I think it'll be a shootout, but I'm going with the Raiders.
All right, Carr against Mahomes, two young quarterbacks. That's going to do it again for this week. For Marsha Hawkins, Elevating with Marsha. Hello at Elevated Media ESQ. Make it a great weekend. Thank you to Mario and the whole crew at Sports Byline. We'll catch you next week on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, Sirius XM 211. Adios.